All right. Hey, welcome back to Nights and Weekends with me, Marcus, the one man band again. All right. Thank you for coming back. Audio engineer, lighting guy, key grip guy. That's all me. But hey, welcome back. As you can see from the thumbnail, I'm standing 10 toes down with Mr. Harrison Butker. All right. So Ed and Marcus, go on ahead and throw in that clip of what Harrison said.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no. To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the U.S., and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well.
So as we can see there, we see where it is he stands. He thinks that a woman's higher calling should be to have kids and to make a home for a family. And also that more importantly, he really kicked the hornet's nest with that men need to step up and that men are just not superfluous extra pieces that are not necessary for society to run. All right. So as anyone could guess who's on the who's on the right hand side of the political spectrum, that it would be a lot of reaction to his speech. I could have gone on for another 25, 30, probably another hour reading through articles and everything else and also doing videos, but I'm going to go to ABC, or at least future Ed and Marcus is going to go into ABC, and he's going to put up that clip. So Ed and Marcus, go ahead and put in that clip, please, sir.
The change.org petition is circulating now online calling for the resignation of Kansas City Chiefs starting kicker. Harrison Butker has been sparking controversy online and really all over water coolers since a commencement speech he gave at Benedictine College. For more now, let's bring in ABC News contributor and Sirius XM radio host Mike Muse. Mike, I know the answer to some of these questions without even asking you, but first, let me get your initial reaction to that speech. We should say it was at Benedictine College, and maybe there were people out there listening who shared his view, but take the first thing. Speaking to women, I'm sure many of you are going to do things, but I'm sure the majority of you want to get married and just have babies.
Yeah, which he said your vocation is to be a homemaker.
The debate is over free speech and hate speech, right? Yeah. And where's the line? Nothing there was hate speech. You may not like what he said, and I fully recognize there are two men here talking about women's reproductive rights, but there are women in our lives that we love. My wife, my mother, my daughter, who is 22 and wants to be a teacher and is getting her master's. I can tell you, if that was her commencement speech, she would have been extremely upset, and I wouldn't want to be the kicker.
That man was up there. Blink twice, please, if you're being held hostage. That man saw his money go out the window if he actually said what the heck he think. All right, back to present day Marcus. So as we can see there, the main the host. So he has a daughter who's in school for teacher. Now, whatever. Look, I know that we need teachers and everything else. Do not get me wrong. I have a degree in political science, but I can just about bet that his daughter didn't have to pay for that degree. Okay, odds are he probably paid for it, or his kid's very intelligent. It's one or the other. But I can guarantee she's not gonna get out of school with a whole bunch of student loans. So he believes that women have been lied to. I do too. I think women have been told that they can have it all, and even from conversations that I've had with tons of women over my life, a whole lot of them do think that they can't have it all, which is crazy to me. But let us go ahead and hop on in and see how happy women have been since they have been able to, I don't know, get into the workforce, work as hard and as much as a man and everything else. So let us go ahead and hop on in there. So as we can see here, women's happiness used to be higher than men back in the 70s, and it's been on a downward spiral ever since. And as we can see here, I try my best to use leftist sources like Vox, Slate, and The Guardian, just in case somebody on the left who happens to watch my show might mess around and try to say,
well, consider the source, son.
You won't be able to say that, baby. But as we can see here from Vox, it's lower than men. Slate. Now, as the folks who already know me in real life and people who know me from my show here, reading out loud.
Hold on to your butts.
So here we go. We are going to read. Now, this is from Slate. This was an article from 2009. It's also kind of funny how if anything is said negative about women, it kind of doesn't get researched in ever again, or it's very low or sporadic. But let us go ahead and try to read this, okay? Now, this is from 2009. Got it. Was 2009? It was all right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Women are unhappier than they have been in 35 years, so suggests a study released earlier this week by the National Bureau of Economics. Two economists at University of Pennsylvania conducted an exhaustive study of happiness and found that women's subjective well-being has declined, both absolutely and relatively to men, as they put it. In fact, though women have historically had higher self-reported levels of happiness, today's women are reporting happiness levels that are even lower than those of men. Men's happiness has dropped too, but not as much as women. Now, let's go over here to The Guardian. Now, I had read this article by this person. Okay. I read it. Woo, boy, you talk about some leftist malarkey going on. But anyway, let us go on ahead and attempt to read this one too. Stevenson's and Wolfers discovered American women rated their overall life satisfaction higher than men in the 70s. Thereafter, women's happiness scores decreased while men's scores stayed roughly stable. Okay. By the 1990s, women were less happy than men. Their relative unhappiness softened after the turn of the century, but men continue to enjoy a higher sense of subjective well-being that is at least as high, if not higher, than women. So this is something else I really want to point out. So as we can see here, in those years, Congress did all types of stuff. They outlawed credit discrimination based on sex. States prevented, 75 states were prevented from excluding women from juries. Until 76, marital rape was legal in every U.S. state. Over the 35 years, women working full time went from earning less than 60% of a man's median salary to earn about 76. Now it's about 80 something. Now, we can take out this last part from this person. This is still an embarrassment for a country that aspires to be a meritocracy, but an improvement nonetheless. Whatever. So, I want to, present day Marcus wants to throw in a clip by Jordan Peterson. Go ahead and throw that on in, editing Marcus.
I worked with high-end lawyers in Toronto for about 10 years. I was part of an organization. We went to law firms, high-end law firms, and said, send us your most productive people, and we'll help them iron out whatever wrinkles there might still be in their life. And the advantage to them is that things will go better for them, and the advantage to you is they'll be even more productive. And so these were women who were generally very attractive, well put together physically, pretty stable psychologically, extremely conscientious, very, very smart, full partnership by the time they were 29 or 30. And all the law firms, all the women bailed out, all of them. The law firms couldn't keep them. They couldn't keep them. The women wanted to have 9-to-5 jobs. They wanted to bind the job so they could have a life. And that was especially true once they got interested in having a child or had one. Well, then what? Well, so then they looked around and they thought, here I am with all these like hyper-competitive men, perfectly willing to work 80 hours a week nonstop to stay at the top. What the hell are they doing?
So he talks about how women have been lied to, that even in his job of talking with and counseling very high achieving people, that these law firms could not keep women because they wanted to have a family. I don't understand why it is that people think. I don't understand why it is that people think that having a family is somewhat below or that you're underachieving. That's kind of unbelievable. Now, somebody who has a bachelor's and does pretty well for himself, I am over the moon whenever I see my own kids maturing and doing better in life. Like that gives me more happiness than I ever have gotten from walking across the stage with my bachelor's. Okay. And if we as a society keep telling women that the beatings will keep going on until morale improves, this isn't going to get any better. It just isn't. But lastly, I wanted to throw in one other thing. I am sorry. Something else that Jordan Peterson brought up in that article is that, not an article, in the clip that I added, is that there are high achieving men who have no problem working 60, 70, 80 hours forever. Most men don't want to do it. A lot of men don't want to do it. The overwhelming vast majority of women definitely don't want to do it. And who the hell can blame them? You want to be away from your family? You want to put that nose to the grindstone for 70, 80 hours a week for 20 years? And this other thing, either by evolution or by God or whichever, men are not on the clock when it comes to biology. Now, we do die earlier. It's also kind of funny how nobody ever makes a big issue out the fact that men on average die 7 years earlier. If the roles were reversed and women were dying 7 years earlier than men, it would be a national crisis. Butker didn't say anything wrong. Okay. Jordan Peterson didn't say anything wrong. We are lying to women thinking that they want to work a bajillion hours, that they want everything that men want. And that's okay. We're different. But lastly, really quick, right before I get the hell out of here, I had a conversation last week with a young lady. Very nice. Very remarkable as a matter of fact. But I asked her, I said, would you want to have to work, or do you want to work at your leisure in a relationship? She's getting close to 30 and really hasn't thought about it. And I kind of brought up to her, like, you might want to think about getting married, but whatever. She said that she doesn't want to really have to work, that she wants to pursue her passions, which again, a high value man or a man of value would happily provide that type of life to a woman that is indeed deserving of it, and there would be no complaints. But I am telling you, if this person does not get married to that type of person, she's going to maybe be unhappy, and she, along with a lot of other women, are going to be very unhappy having to work as hard and as long as men living the single life. Good luck. Hey, that's it. Please, come back. Okay. Please hit subscribe and come on back. All right. I will see y'all in a week. Bye.